Bobby's mom! Please come immediately! The sight that I saw, having rushed over at the teacher's words, was my son collapsed on the spot. My son was unconscious after colliding with a friend and falling from the playground equipment. I was anxious and called help to my husband, but busy with his work, he didn't come to our son's side. Even though it's his job, it's just too cruel, while his own son is being taken away in an ambulance. I realized something. The worst reason he couldn't rush to our son's side. I'm Jennifer. I live with my husband John and our elementary school-age son, Bobby. John works in the hotel industry and doesn't have weekends off, so he rarely participates in Bobby's school events. He's never shown up for parent-teacher conferences or sports days. When we received the letter about a parent-child outing, I asked my husband, knowing he probably couldn't go, "John, there's a parent-child outing during the upcoming public holiday." "During a holiday? I can't. I have work." Despite understanding, I still felt lonely. When I asked other moms, they said that everyone is managing to attend with their spouses. Some people also work on weekends, but they seem to be adjusting to take the day off. When I mentioned this, John clearly seemed annoyed and retorted, "So what? You're telling me to take a day off too? You understand my work, right?" "Yeah, sorry." Reluctantly, I decided to attend the parent-child outing with Bobby alone. While many families were participating with both parents, there were also fathers participating alone because their wives were working. Well, it happens that wives have to work too. I wasn't bothered by it and thought I would enjoy the day with Bobby. However, when the children go off to play, it inevitably gets lonely. The other moms were there with their husbands, so it was hard to join in the conversation. As I was sitting there, the teacher came running towards me in a panic. "Bobby's mom, please come immediately." "Huh? What happened?" "Bobby. He collided with a friend and fell off the playground equipment." "What? Bobby?" I rushed to the scene to find my son unconscious. The teacher immediately called an ambulance, and I got in with Bobby, who was still unconscious. When we arrived at the hospital, he was immediately taken to the examination room. Realizing I hadn't informed John, I quickly called him. "Hello, John? Something terrible has happened. Bobby fell from the playground equipment and hit his head. He's unconscious." "What? Shouldn't you have called an ambulance before calling me?" "The teacher already did that. He's being transported to the hospital and undergoing examinations now." "All right. You're at the hospital then. Let me know the results via email when you know." "What?" I couldn't believe my ears. He wasn't planning to come to the hospital in this emergency? "What are you saying? You need to come home now." In response to my cry, my husband replied in a flippant tone, "Hey, didn't I tell you I can't take a break during this holiday?" "But we're in a state of emergency right now. Don't you understand?" "I know you're at the hospital, but what's the point of me going there? There's nothing I can do at the moment. We just have to wait for the results. Let me know when you get any updates. Bye for now." With that, John hung up the phone abruptly. I was left staring at my smartphone, dumbfounded. He wouldn't even come home for our son's critical situation. As I slumped there, a man approached me. "Are you Bobby's mom? I'm Alex's father." It was Alex's father who had spoken. Alex was the friend who had collided with Bobby. I remembered him attending the event with his son as his wife was absent. Alex's father bowed deeply towards me. "I am truly sorry for what has happened." I hastily shook my head. "I heard from the teacher that Bobby and Alex accidentally ran into each other. It was a careless mistake on our part as well. Please don't worry about it." Standing next to his father, Alex, with his bandages wrapped around him, stood there with his eyes swollen from crying. "It's because I ran into Bobby." I reassured Alex gently. "It's not your fault, Alex. Bobby will be absolutely fine. Once he's better, will you play with him again?" Alex nodded tearfully. His father, looking relieved, thanked me. "Thank you for your kind words. My wife should have been here to greet you as well. I apologize." "No, it's okay. My husband can't come back from work either. Is Alex's mother at work too?" "No, actually." Alex's father hesitated. "My wife is on a trip with her friends. It was planned before this field trip, so she couldn't cancel it. It's embarrassing." "Oh, I see." I tried to contact her several times about the accident, but I haven't been able to reach her. As soon as Alex's father finished speaking, his phone rang. "Oh, it's my wife. Excuse me for a moment." Alex's father quickly answered the phone and explained the situation to his wife. That's what happened. How soon can you get back here? 2 hours? But how are you going to get back? You can't drive, can you? Oh, a friend is with you? That's good then. Be careful. After ending the call, he reported to me with a relieved look. I'm sorry. I just got in touch with my wife. She has a friend who happens to be coming near here, and she will drive her here. It will take about 2 hours, though. I see. Then my phone rang. Oh, it's my husband. Excuse me. I excused myself and answered the call. John, what happened? I managed to get some time off and we'll head there. I'll finish work in about 2 hours and I'll head straight there. Really? That's great. After ending the call, I reported back to Alex's father. My husband will also be here in about 2 hours. It's good that we can both meet. Just then, we were called by the doctor who had finished the examination. According to the examination, Bobby had no abnormalities. He had just lost consciousness due to the shock, and they decided to observe him for now. Even though they said no abnormalities, it was still nerve-wracking not knowing when he would regain consciousness. As I came out of the examination room filled with worry, Alex's father was there waiting for me. He was holding Alex, who had fallen asleep from exhaustion. We started to chat about our families to distract ourselves from the situation. Alex's mother was a homemaker, but recently she had been going out with her friends often during evenings and weekends. When she was away, he would take care of their child. My wife usually takes care of our son Alex during weekdays, so I thought she should have some fun during nights and weekends. But now, I regret not canceling her trip during the school field trip. As I listened to his story, I couldn't help but compare it to my husband John. My husband, on his days off, be it weekends when he has work, or even on weekdays, he always leaves alone saying he needs to unwind. In contrast, Alex's father is actively involved in childcare. I found myself confiding my husband's complaints to him. As we talked, I noticed a strange coincidence. The behavior of John and Alex's mother coincided exactly. The days they couldn't attend events. The weekdays they went out in the evening. They were all the same. I suddenly became curious and asked, by the way, my husband went on a business trip to Phoenix last month. Oh, when was that? It was the first weekend of last month, I believe. My wife said she was going on a trip with friends that day and came back with souvenirs from Phoenix. Could it be? We exchanged glances. It had been about 2 hours since we called John and his wife. The first to contact us was John. My husband will arrive at the parking lot soon, so I'll go and pick him up. I told Alex's father and headed to the parking lot. When I nervously peeked into the car, there was no one in the passenger seat. Could it be that Alex's mother is with him? That's what I was speculating. I brought John, who got out of the car with an innocent face, back to the hospital room where Bobby was sleeping. After exchanging greetings with Alex's father, Alex's mother appeared. I didn't miss the moment when she and John looked at each other's faces and were momentarily lost for words. As if nothing had happened, John greeted Alex's mother. Ha, hello. Thank you for always taking care of our son. Alex's mother quickly returned the greeting in response to John's excited voice. Oh, yes. Hello. Likewise. Upon observing the two, I decided to stir the pot a bit. Oh, is this your first time meeting my husband, Alex's mom? Alex's mother answered in a flustered manner. Of course. It's our first meeting. Isn't it obvious? You don't have to deny it so desperately. It wouldn't be strange if you had met him at parent-teacher meetings or school events, right? That's impossible. I didn't know John's son was in the same class as my son. I hadn't called my husband by his name in front of her yet. She took the bait. This was suspicious. At that moment, I was convinced of my husband's affair with her. Moreover, it seemed that they had been dating without knowing that their children were classmates. Isn't it strange? How do you know my husband's name if you're meeting for the first time? Alex's mother was at a loss for words at my questioning. That is... Suddenly, John snapped at me to protect her. Hey, Jennifer, what's your problem? That's rude to her, isn't it? She's the mother of our son's friend. You should show some respect. Alex woke up to the sound of John yelling, and then he pointed at John and said, the man who comes to our house. A man who comes to our house? The hospital room fell silent. Alex's mother tried to cover up his remark in a hurry. Whoa, hold on, Alex. What are you talking about? Are you mistaking him for someone else? Perplexed, Alex continues. No, I'm not mistaken. Dad, could you lend me your tablet? Alex receives the tablet from his father, and with practiced ease, He shows a certain image. Look, this! The image displayed is of a toy train set in Alex's room that he had assembled himself. The toy train set is a product sold by a toy company. What's this? Isn't it the toy set that Alex usually plays with? To his mother's puzzled question, Alex points to a figure in the background of the toy train set. See this man? I remember him because I look at this photo from time to time. Upon closer inspection, the image captured the living room in the background of Alex's room, where a man, John, was seen chatting amiably with Alex's mother. With this, you can't dodge the truth anymore, I muttered, giving them a hard stare. Alex's father, too, was trembling with anger. He raised his voice at his wife. You've been inviting your lover into our house while I'm at work? And look at the date. It's the day I was away on business, wasn't it? I, too, was shocked when I saw the date. This date? Wasn't it the day John didn't come home because he was on a business trip? Don't tell me. You stayed over at Alex's house? That is, she said it was okay, so I just... John readily admitted his infidelity and shifted the blame onto Alex's mother. Hearing this, she hastily countered. What? You're blaming me? It was you who said it's a waste of money to stay outside, wasn't it? Alex's father put an end to the ugly argument. Enough. Inviting your lover to stay in a house where there's a child? You're unfit to be a mother. You're utterly despicable. I disdain you from the bottom of my heart. At his words, John flinched, and he quickly tried to paint the lover as the villain. Indeed, she's unfit to be a mother. At least I've never met her in front of Bobby. I care about my child, you know. What? What's this guy talking about? He's joking, right? I felt a surge of anger towards my husband. Are you kidding me? Even though Bobby was unconscious, you didn't even try to come home, using work as an excuse. No, that's not true. I mean, I rushed to the hospital, didn't I? That's because she decided to come back, isn't it? You didn't have the slightest intention of coming back until Alex's dad told her about our son's accident. I thought it would be okay even if I wasn't there at that time. Whether it's okay or not, that's not the point. If you're a father, you should rush to your child's side when you hear they're unconscious, shouldn't you? Despite that, you prioritized your trip with your lover. You're not a father, or anything of the sort. No matter what you think, I am Bobby's father. And what do you plan to do if Bobby doesn't wake up? Can you, a stay-at-home mom, keep paying the hospital bills? Without me, you and our son can't survive. Grr. It's frustrating, but I don't have the savings to keep paying these hospital bills. Do I have no choice but to turn a blind eye to John's infidelity for now? Just when I was about to give up, a frail voice came from the bed. Mom? When I turned around, Bobby had his eyes barely open. Bobby! I clung to my son. Bobby hugged me back tightly, then said, Even if Dad's not here, I'll be okay, because I'll protect you, Mom. Hearing Bobby's words, John was dumbfounded. Bobby, why would you say something like that? Then my son answered firmly, Because you're moving out, right, Dad? After Mom went to bed the other night, you said that on the phone, didn't you? On the phone? I heard you talking when I got up to go to the bathroom, Dad. You said I don't care about Jennifer at all. If it wasn't for the kids, I would leave right away and be with you. That's what you said, isn't it, Dad? That's... John's face went pale. So, I'll grant Dad's wish. I don't need to be your child anymore. I don't need a dad anymore. John was shocked at Bobby's words. On the other hand, I finally made up my mind after hearing what Bobby had said. I've made up my mind. Please, let's separate. As I told this to my husband, Alex's father handed me his business card. Jennifer, I'll help with your decision too. The business card he handed over had the title of a law firm's director printed on it. We should have plenty of evidence aside from this toy train photo. Leave the claim for alimony and child support to me. I'm planning to make a claim to my wife too, so it's like killing two birds with one stone. Upon hearing his words, Alex's mother started to panic. What? Wait! I haven't agreed to a divorce yet. I won't leave you. Then Alex's father said to her in a cold voice, Huh? You, who cheated, have no right to choose. A low-life mother who would cheat in front of her child doesn't deserve custody. If you still object, it'll go to court, you know. You're aware of my high success rate in court, right? And with such favorable conditions, there's no way I'd lose. Seemingly resigned, Alex's mother quickly consented to the divorce and agreed to pay the compensation. Seeing this, John also signed the pledge to pay alimony and child support to his wife. He must have realized that it was futile to go against the lawyer. After that, both our marriages ended in divorce. The now free Alex's mother and John started living together as planned. However, their living arrangement didn't go as planned. Once they started living together, they began suspecting each other of cheating with someone else, and their relationship began to sour. Tired of the relationship, John actually ended up cheating with another married woman. As always, John was sloppy and was easily caught by the woman's husband, who demanded compensation. Alex's mother also cheated with someone else, but her lover merely took advantage of her and then dumped her. Alex's mother, who had spent all her savings, and John, who was drowning in debt from paying compensation. They both seemed to be stuck together, blaming each other for their misfortunes. At this rate, they're clearly heading for financial ruin, but I don't feel sorry for them at all. They reaped what they sowed. It serves them right. As for me, thanks to Alex's father, I received more than enough alimony and child support, and now Bobby and I are living a peaceful life. Bobby got better without any problems and returned to his daily life. He still plays happily with Alex, just like before. I've become good friends with Alex's father, even more so than my mom friends, and we talk about everything. My only wish now is to continue living a happy life with Bobby, just the two of us.